A family moves to a house with a mysterious tree in the backyard that grants wishes, but at a deadly price. A family moves into an old house with a massive tree in the backyard. The house is nestled in a secluded area on the outskirts of a quiet town. The house itself, a creaking Victorian structure, was affordable and perfect for the family. Adam, father, his wife Clara, and their two children, Emily and Sam. The tree in the backyard, an ancient oak with sprawling branches, stood at the edge of the yard, almost as if it had been placed there for some unknown purpose. The locals, however, whispered strange tales about the tree. They said it was a wishing tree, a tree that granted wishes to those who asked, but only after taking something precious in return. The tree is rumored to grant wishes, but locals warn that it comes with a terrible cost. The stories were enough to make Clara and Adam laugh nervously at first. They were used to hearing local legends, and this one seemed no different from the others. Emily and Sam, being children, were curious but had little concern. They saw the tree as just another piece of the mysterious backyard, their imaginations racing with possibilities. Clara, ever the skeptic, was content to dismiss the warnings as nothing more than old-town superstition. But Adam, who had recently lost his job, couldn't help but wonder, what if the legends were true? The family dismisses the stories, thinking they're just superstition. One evening, after a long day of unpacking, Adam stood outside staring at the tree. It had a haunting beauty to it, the way the branches twisted and turned, forming unnatural shapes against the setting sun. The wind rustled the leaves softly, and Adam, feeling desperate, muttered under his breath, "I wish we could have enough money to live comfortably." He thought it was ridiculous, but just as the words left his mouth, the air around him seemed to pulse with energy. He dismissed it as a trick of the mind, but in his heart, a seed of doubt had been planted. That night, Clara laughed it off, and they went to bed without another thought. They make a wish for wealth, and soon after, their lives begin to improve. The very next day, Adam received an unexpected call from an old colleague offering him a job at a prestigious firm with a salary higher than anything he had earned before. Clara was offered a freelance contract that allowed her to work from home, and the children's school fees were mysteriously paid in full. The family, amazed at their sudden good fortune, began to feel the pull of the tree more and more. They convinced themselves that it was merely coincidence, but the improvements were undeniable. The wishing tree, it seemed, had granted their wish, but in the back of their minds, the warning of the locals lingered. But with every wish, something dark and dangerous begins to manifest. As days turned into weeks, the family began to notice strange occurrences. The once friendly neighbors started avoiding them, and odd noises could be heard from the backyard late at night. Emily, always the curious one, saw shadows moving in the corner of her eye when she played near the tree. Sam started having nightmares about the tree, where it reached out with its gnarled roots to drag him into its dark embrace. Clara felt an unsettling chill in the house that she couldn't explain, and Adam began to have vivid dreams of something dark lurking beneath the soil. It was as though the tree had awakened something within them, something far more sinister than they had ever imagined. People around them start dying in strange and violent ways. It wasn't long before the first tragedy struck. The family's neighbor, Mrs. Delaney, an elderly woman who lived across the street, was found dead in her home, her body contorted in an unnatural position. The police labeled it an accident, but the family couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Soon after, more deaths followed, each stranger than the last. The local butcher was found with deep gashes on his arms, his eyes wide with terror. A school teacher collapsed in the middle of class, her face frozen in a silent scream. The family realized that each death seemed to be connected to the tree. Each person had been close to them in some way, and all of them had died in violent, unexplained circumstances. The once quiet town was turning into a nightmare. The family realizes that the tree feeds on their desires and takes something in return for every wish. It wasn't until one fateful evening, when Adam visited the tree alone, that he finally understood the price. As he stood beneath its towering branches, he felt a strange pull, a sensation of warmth, followed by a cold chill. It was as if the tree itself was speaking to him, its whispers brushing against his mind. "You wanted wealth," it murmured, "but you have yet to pay." Adam recoiled, his blood running cold. He had made the wish, but now he understood. The tree didn't give freely. For every desire fulfilled, something had to be taken in return. The family's newfound wealth had come at the cost of something much darker, a curse that had begun to consume the town. and now it had set its sights on them. They tried to stop making wishes, but the tree becomes more insistent. Desperate, Adam gathered his family and begged them to stop making wishes. They tried to ignore the tree, to live their lives without asking for anything more, but the tree wasn't willing to let them go. Every day it called to them, its roots creaking and groaning as if it were alive. The family's nightmares grew worse, and the deaths around them escalated. The tree wanted more. It wanted their souls, their very existence. The whispers grew louder, urging them to wish again, promising them even greater power, more wealth, more happiness. But Adam, Clara, and the children now understood that no wish would ever come without a cost. The family must find a way to destroy the tree before it destroys them. Desperate for a solution, Adam began researching the tree's origin. He found an old journal in the attic written by a man who had once lived in the house long ago. The journal described a similar family who had made wishes and watched as their lives turned to tragedy. The only way to break the tree's curse, the journal claimed, was to destroy its roots, those dark, twisted veins that spread beneath the earth like a spider's web. The family gathered all their strength and prepared to confront the tree once and for all. But as they approached, the air turned cold and the ground trembled. The tree fought back, its branches snapping and writhing like tendrils of a monstrous creature. But the tree has grown too powerful, and its roots reach deeper than they could have ever imagined. In the end, they realized they were too late. The tree had become something far more than just a simple oak. It had merged with the very land itself. Its roots had spread across the town, infiltrating every corner of the earth. The tree's power was uncontainable, its hunger insatiable. The family, powerless to stop it, watched as the tree consumed everything they had ever loved. And in the final moments, as the tree's roots twisted around them, Adam whispered to his family, "We should never have wished." If you enjoyed this chilling tale of greed, fate, and the horrors of making wishes, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, what would you wish for, knowing the terrible cost?